It happened yet again, Steelers fans. In what has become far too common of an occurrence in recent years, the team fell victim to what we call a Tomlin game. Today, I'm going to break down exactly what that is and why it led to a disastrous performance against the Cleveland Browns. Hey everyone, Rob Gregson of A to Z Sports Pittsburgh, and I want to discuss how the Steelers fell to the Browns on Thursday night. For one, it starts by understanding the context and the setting of the situation. Coming into the game, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers were 0-5 all time when facing division rivals on the road and on Thursday Night Football. But where it really went wrong was within his in-game management and decision-making. And it started early on fourth down. See, I have no problem with wanting to be aggressive and try, especially on the road and in a division game, try and really push the pedal and, make big plays and make statement plays by going for it and getting it on fourth down. The problem is, in order to do that, your execution, your decision-making, and your personnel has to be in tip-top shape, and that was not the case. Whether it was Justin Fields not being in the game or then being in the game but being used more horizontally instead of vertically when the team only needs 1 or 2 yards and they can run an easy quarterback power or even quarterback sneak, but instead they're running a jet sweep play or trying to get him to the edge of the line. These are just things that they make you scratch your head and wonder why you would even go for it on fourth down. But where the real problem resides is in the end of half and end of game clock management from Coach Tomlin. See, at the end of the first half, the Steelers got the ball back with 1 timeout and less than a minute remaining after Kevin Stefanski bled over 40 seconds off the clock and gave the Steelers virtually no choice but to just go into the half and give the Browns the ball back after really attaining no points. And that was only magnified in a very similar situation at the end of the game. See, Coach Tomlin, after helping lead the team back to a 19-18 rally, the Browns got the ball, and instead of declining a penalty that would have given him a 4th and 2 and a chance to really end the game, he accepted it, gave the Browns a 3rd and 7, which they then converted and turned into a game-winning touchdown for running back Nick Chubb. But to make matters worse, in his decision, that whole debacle ended up costing the team a timeout as he had to decide whether or not to decline or accept the penalty. So once again, in now what was a game-winning scenario, the team had less than a minute and 1 timeout to try and drive the length of the field, of which didn't work. They threw up a Hail Mary. George Pickens is out here fighting people instead of going for the ball, and the team falls in what is a rather embarrassing game when you consider that they were 8-2, the Browns were 2-8, have nothing to play for, and the Steelers are supposed to be one of the best teams in the AFC, and if not, the whole entire NFL. So it's just the latest in what has become far too long of a line of just poor execution, play calls, and just decisions from Coach Tomlin and some of his coaches, and in games where they just shouldn't have these problems. And for one, you really look at it and you say, how does a coach that as recently as last week was being talked about as a coach of the year favorite, how does one with that type of resume and that type of illustrious career make these type of bungles and just overall decision making? And it's happened far too often, and at this point, it's hard to say it won't happen again. But for Steelers fans, they're just hoping that it's the last one of the year, and it's on the mend until 2025.